The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. I mean, in an instant, the entire K-drama world was just, like, turned completely upside down. A legend returns, but not as a hero. Like, he returns as a man entirely unraveling. Welcome to StarScope K-Report.
Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu Wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
And today, we are taking you on this massive deep dive into a story that has literally taken over every forum and timeline right now. We are unpacking the real reason, like the actual real reason, cinematic titan Choi Min-sik chose a super dark, twisted Netflix series for his highly anticipated TV comeback.
Yeah, and we'll also be exploring those intense, totally polarized Knetz reactions that followed. Because the discourse right now as well, it's absolutely wild.
It really is. I mean, nobody saw this coming.
Exactly. It's a headline story that basically caught the entire industry off guard. Mostly because of the sheer weight of his previous work, you know? To understand the shock, you kind of have to look at the project itself.
Right, because on paper, this is a massive departure from what audiences were expecting.
Oh, 100%. We are talking about Netflix's Notes from the Last Row. It's a 6-episode psychological thriller directed by Gyu-tae.
Oh, the director from Our Blues.
Yeah, you probably know him from his stunning, emotionally grounded work on that show. So the series itself is actually adapted from an award-winning 2006 Spanish play.
Wait, really? A Spanish play?
Yeah, by Juan Mayorga. It's called The Boy in the Last Row. It also inspired that highly acclaimed 2012 French film, In the House.
Okay, so it already has this very heavy, prestigious international pedigree before the cameras even start rolling. I mean, the expectations are automatically set to this certain cinematic standard.
Which perfectly matches an actor of this caliber, right? But in this series, Choi Min-sik plays Heo Mun-oh. He is a failed novelist and a Korean literature professor who is just completely, utterly consumed by a deeply rooted inferiority complex.
Which is wild for him to play.
It really is. I mean, he's been on a TV hiatus for 2 years. His last small screen project was Disney Plus' Big Bet back in 2022.
And keep in mind, you guys, he is coming fresh off dominating the cinematic box office with Exhuma. Like, that supernatural thriller was a mega hit.
Oh, absolutely. That film drew over 10 million viewers. He is essentially a box office god in South Korea right now.
Yeah.
So expectations for his next move were just sky high.
And despite how unconventional this choice was, it achieved what we could basically call an absolute all-kill in the streaming metrics.
Yeah, according to Dispatch and Netflix data, the show ranked 8th in global non-English TV shows within just 3 days of its release. It hit the top 10 in 6 different countries.
Wait, an all-kill? Usually we only use that term for idol groups, topping all the domestic music charts simultaneously like Melon and Genie. Are you saying a 60-year-old actor pulled those kinds of dominant numbers on a global platform?
Well, the sheer velocity of the viewership justifies borrowing the term, I think. The moment it dropped, it commanded the global charts in a way that mirrored a highly anticipated idol comeback. People tuned in immediately.
Right, but what they found when they pressed play is what caused this huge fracture in the fandom. The Knetz reactions were deeply, deeply divided.
They were. It definitely wasn't what people were expecting for a summer watch.
Because, okay, in the K-drama world, summer releases are usually our Seta dramas, right? We want that refreshing, crisp, sprite-like feeling of watching the bad guys get punished. Fast-paced revenge, high stakes.
Where good aggressively triumphs over evil, yeah.
Exactly. We want to sit in front of the AC and cheer. Instead, viewers got guguma. That stuffy, sweet potato feeling of a slow burn, depressing, deeply uncomfortable story about a pathetic professor.
Even Choi Min-sik admitted in interviews that he was worried viewers would find the show tiring. He knew it was a heavy, suffocating lift for a summer watch.
He had to know.
He was well aware of the friction it would cause. He specifically mentioned that people might find his character's flaws hitting a bit too close to home. Mun-oh is not a mastermind villain. He is just a man rotting from the inside out with jealousy.
But why would a certified, universally respected legend voluntarily choose to play a weak, self-loathing loser? It feels counterintuitive to maintaining a blockbuster legacy.
It does seem risky at first glance.
It's like a top-tier group's main visual and lead dancer intentionally stepping all the way into the background and letting a rookie take the center position.
And not just stepping back, but actively letting that rookie dictate the choreography, too.
Yes. Why completely risk your own carefully crafted, invincible image when you could just sign on for another guaranteed blockbuster hit?
Well, The answer to that connects to a shocking plot twist in the script, one that ties directly back to his most legendary film. And honestly, the structural parallels are impossible to ignore once you see them.
Oh my gosh, okay. If you love staying updated on your biases, the biggest Hallyu news and deep dive theories like this, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead, and you do not want to miss out.
Yeah, so let's get into this plot twist. Because to understand why this script hooked him, you have to look at what he's been craving creatively.
Right, he was looking for something specific.
Exactly. Choi Min-sik stated he was searching for a project with a rich literary fragrance. He was fatigued by superhero-style revenge stories with clear-cut good and evil.
He wanted something messy.
Yeah, he wanted a narrative that laid human nature bare, exposing uncomfortable truths like, as he put it, raw meat. And the core thematic engine driving this entire series is the concept of group.
Yup?
Yeah.
That translates to verbal karma, right?
It does. It is the horrific, lingering violence of careless words and writing. And this is where the Korea Times pointed out a massive, undeniable parallel to his 2003 cinematic masterpiece, Oldboy.
Oh, wow. Oldboy. That is literally the gold standard for Korean cinema.
Right, and think about Oldboy. The protagonist, Oh-dae-soo, his entire life is completely destroyed. He's locked in a private prison for 15 years. But the mechanism behind all that suffering wasn't a physical attack.
It was a careless rumor. Oh-dae-soo started when he was a teenager. A few passing words just snowballed into an absolute tragedy.
Exactly, the violence of a rumor.
Which, honestly, we see the modern equivalent of that online every single day.
We really do. And if you fast forward to notes from the last row, Professor Mun-oh's life is systematically dismantled because of a careless remark he made years ago. The mechanism of destruction is almost identical.
Wait, what was the remark? Like, how does a professor's offhand comment trigger a whole psychological thriller?
Okay, so this is the spoiler that turns the whole series on its head. Years ago, Mun-oh visited an orphanage. While he was there, a young boy named Lee Kang made this desperate, vulnerable confession to him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he shared something deeply traumatic. But Mun-oh, wrapped up in his own ego and pedantic worldview, arrogantly dismissed the boy's trauma as a trivial story.
Are you serious?
He essentially took a red pen and put an X over the boy's lived reality. And that single, callous evaluation planted a venomous seed of revenge in young Lee Kang.
That is chilling.
So years later, Lee Kang enrolls in Mun-oh's class. He sits in the back row, and he starts weaponizing his own brilliant writing. He turns in assignments that blur the lines between fiction and reality, revealing intimate, invasive details about the professor's own life.
Oh, that is so twisted.
He slowly dismantles his professor's sanity, just word by word.
That completely recontextualizes his initial arrogance, from a simple character flaw into the actual weapon of his own destruction. And honestly, it connects so directly to what we see in modern K-pop fandom culture.
How so?
Just the idea that a single malicious comment or one careless netizen rumor spread on a forum can completely destroy an idol's mental health or shatter a career. I mean, words are literal weapons.
Absolutely. They have real impact.
Hold on, though. If Mun-oh looked at an orphan child pouring their heart out and arrogantly dismissed it, isn't he just the villain here? I mean, why are we supposed to feel sympathy for a guy who gets exactly the karma he asked for?
Well, that moral ambiguity is the brilliance of the show. And it's something Choi Min-sik himself wrestled with during production. Looking at Mun-oh objectively, Min-sik admitted he kind of hated the guy.
I mean, I would too.
He said if he met him in real life, he'd want to buy him a drink, give him a hug, and then aggressively yell at him to pull himself together.
That's hilarious.
But as an actor, he explained that he couldn't play the character if he sat in judgment of him. He had to act as Mun-oh's staunchest defense attorney.
Staunchest defense attorney. That is a brilliant way to approach an unlikable protagonist. You kind of have to find the human logic in their terrible decisions.
Yeah. Right. He had to feel profound compassion for Mun-oh's agonizingly painful existence. Because beneath that pedantic, arrogant exterior is a man who is just so consumed by envy.
Envy of the student.
Specifically, the envy of seeing raw, undeniable talent in the very student he wronged. He is basically self-abusing at this point. The tragedy is that Mun-oh destroys himself with his own insecurities long before Lee Kang's psychological warfare even takes effect.
Wow. So the student just provides the final push.
Exactly.
That level of empathy requires an incredibly deep understanding of human frailty. And we know Choi Min-sik brought that fire to the psychological warfare. but the dynamic relies entirely on the person sitting in the last row.
It really does.
And that brings us to what happens when a veteran legend goes toe-to-toe with a rookie matinee 40 years his junior. Because I'm fascinated by this behind-the-scenes dynamic.
The casting really is the engine of the entire drama. On one side, you have the veteran Choi Min-sik, born in 1962. On the other side, playing the enigmatic student Lee Kang, you have rising star Choi Hyun-wook.
Born in 2002. That is a massive 40-year age gap.
It's huge. And for a dynamic that requires them to essentially be mental equals on screen, playing this high-stakes game of psychological chess, that is a massive gamble for a director.
Seriously, if the rookie blinks, the tension just collapses.
But the casting process itself revealed a lot about how they would interact. Min-sik actually went out of his way to personally watch Hyun-wook's audition.
He did.
Yeah, the director, Gyu-tae, told him to pay close attention to this specific kid. Min-sik was initially skeptical, of course. He wondered how much you can really tell from a short, sterile audition tape.
Fair enough.
But he was genuinely shocked by what he saw. He noted that Hyun-wook didn't act like a typical rookie. Usually, young actors in front of a legend overact, right? They try to prove their kinetic energy.
Right, they want to show they can hold their own.
But Hyun-wook did the opposite. He mumbled his lines slowly and deliberately, displaying this eerie restraint. Min-sik described him almost like an old master.
Calling a 22-year-old an old master is like the ultimate compliment from someone who's been acting since before that kid was even born. That stillness must have translated incredibly well to the actual set.
It did. Director Kim Gyu-tae ended up calling Hyun-wook a limitless actor with a rare, tranquil intensity. Min-sik himself was so impressed that he admitted Hyun-wook was the true eye of the storm in the narrative.
That is wild praise.
Min-sik realized that because his character Mun-oh is essentially falling into all these psychological traps set by the student, he didn't need to dominate the scenes. He didn't need to use his signature overwhelming screen presence.
He just had to react.
Exactly. He just needed to actively react to the young actor's performance. He actually described it like a high-stakes game of table tennis. He just focused on receiving the serves that Hyun-wook sent his way.
Which requires literally zero ego. I love their real-life dynamic because it is just too wholesome compared to how dark the actual show is. Did you see that interview clip floating around K-Twitter?
I think I did, but tell me.
Okay, so Hyun-wook was talking about filming, and he mentioned that Min-sik kept buying him all these delicious meals during production. Hyun-wook very politely said he really wanted to return the favor someday and buy the senior actor a meal.
Right.
And Min-sik, without missing a beat, jokingly shouted, "Hey, buy me a meal right now."
It just completely shatters the heavy tension of the drama. Hyun-wook also mentioned that he was utterly captivated but also completely terrified by Min-sik's tiger-like screen presence whenever the cameras rolled. He really had to fight to maintain that calm, calculating demeanor.
It's such a rare level of artistic generosity. To bring it back to that K-pop analogy we started with, it's like a first-gen pioneer, someone who laid the foundation for the entire industry, sharing a comeback stage with a fifth-gen rookie.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And instead of demanding the spotlight, the pioneer just sits back, lets the rookie set the pace, and says, "You lead, I'll react." I mean, what does this mean for the future of K-dramas if younger actors are stepping on to set this fearless, and veterans are this willing to share the power dynamic?
It suggests a really fascinating evolution in Korean storytelling, a space where rigid industry hierarchy takes a backseat to the raw necessity of the performance. And hey, if you want to keep seeing deep dives into legendary team-ups and industry shifts like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update.
Definitely, because the off-screen evolution of Choi Min-sik is honestly almost as fascinating as his on-screen roles. We have to talk about what has been happening during his recent promotional tours. The global Hallyu fandom is suddenly treating this 64-year-old dramatic veteran exactly like a K-pop idol.
It is a massive cultural pivot. If you look at Choi Min-sik's filmography, he has made a career out of playing the most intense, grueling characters imaginable.
Absolutely terrifying roles.
Terrifying serial killers, brutal gangsters, corrupt politicians, and now miserable, pathetic professors. Yet his real-life public persona has recently been embraced by a much younger demographic in a way we usually only see for pop stars.
We're literally seeing fans set up birthday cafes for him.
Which is wild when you think about it. We are used to seeing birthday cafes, you know, the rented spaces, the custom cup sleeves, the photo card events, the massive lines down the street.
Right, that's mobilized for 4th and 5th gen idols.
Exactly. To see that massive infrastructure of stan culture activated for a dramatic actor in his 60s shows a total blurring of the lines between actor and idol fandoms.
Especially an actor who literally played the devil incarnate in I Saw the Devil. Like, that contrast is what makes it so amazing. And it didn't stop at the cafes.
Oh no, the stage greetings were something else.
Yes. During the stage greetings at movie theaters for Exhuma, fans started bringing him all these bizarre, playful props.
The pirate hat, the cute animal headbands, the magic wands.
And instead of rejecting them or trying to maintain this serious, intimidating, untouchable teacher persona, he happily wore everything. He leaned all the way into the joke.
He really did. In his interviews, he actually reflected on the heavy, isolating years of the COVID-19 pandemic. He noted that after seeing empty theaters for so long, finally seeing packed rooms with audiences bringing these fun, joyful items made him genuinely happy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, he completely shed his intense cinematic image to just share a moment of connection with the fans. It wasn't about preserving his dignity as a serious actor. It was about honoring the community that showed up for him.
It is the ultimate duality. We talk about duality all the time in K-pop. Like an idol who has this incredibly dark, aggressive, leather-clad concept on stage, but then you watch their behind-the-scenes vlogs, and they are the softest, fluffiest, most giggly person on the planet.
Exactly that.
Choi Min-sik is giving us a juicy idol duality. He is a psychological terror on screen and an absolute fluffball wearing a pirate hat off-screen. It is just peak fandom culture.
It highlights a really unique moment in Korean pop culture right now, which actually brings me to a thought I want to leave you with today. We are seeing heavy, literary psychological thrillers like Notes from the Last Row finding massive, all-kill success on global platforms.
Shows that actively challenge and frustrate the audience rather than just comfort them.
Right. And at the exact same time, we're seeing these veteran dramatic actors achieving literal idol-level fandoms, complete with birthday cafes and viral, wholesome fan cams. So is the Hallyu Wave permanently shifting?
Oh, that's interesting.
Are international audiences finally moving past the era of purely fluffy rom-coms and standard, satisfying revenge plots? Are we now actively demanding the raw, uncomfortable truths of human nature while saving all our fluffy, wholesome energy for the actors' off-screen personas?
That is such a compelling question. Because if the global success of this dark, deeply unsettling dive into human inferiority is any indication, I think the landscape has already changed. The fandoms are proving they can handle the darkest psychological warfare on screen as long as the actors are willing to wear a cute headband at the after-party. And honestly, we are here for every single second of it.
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu Wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.